Good afternoon. This is video number 3. In the Mission Winners Room site, we had several people saying, hey, can you just kind of tell me, like, how do you pick the best stocks on your list? Every night I make a key list, and you can say, why is it called a key list? It's because it's the stocks that we're keying on. I know it sounds like a goofy name. I could say it's to the key to my heart, but that'd just be weird. We're not going to do that. So these are the stocks we're keying on. And this is the list right here. You can see them. All of them. Sorted. This is the way we're doing it now. Sorted by the type of base it is and things like this. And I'm just going to go through these with you real quick and show you a couple of different things. First stock, Applied Materials. Shorter base, buy zone, 52.63. Right there. The high here is 52.63. How about that? Taking out those highs. But I also drew a line here. Bouncing off the 8-day. Every person, and this is the whole gist of this video, each person has to find out what kind of a trader, what kind of investor am I? Am I a long-term investor that looks for super long bases, weekly bases? Am I a swing trader? Am I both? Well, I do both. I like to look for long bases, clean and simple bases, but I will swing trade. So here's the first one. AMAT, shorter base. If it's your first buy, you go smaller. And you can see that downward sloping trend line. It lifted through that downward sloping trend line. The high on this bar is $51.74. By the way, you can say, where are you getting that from? I want to show you. Right here on this bar, if you take a look out over here, you see these numbers? That's where I get it from. The high, the low, the open. So when I say a certain number, watch over here. 51.74. You can see it right there. H stands for high. So if it takes out 51.74, a person could buy it. Bouncing off the 8-day. Well, guess what? It did it, and it marched up. Not a huge gain, but it marched up. A lot of people play that. If that's not your style, then don't do it. Don't do it. I try to give a couple of different high probability setups. I naturally am not going to give you a low probability setup. I want you to make money. I want us all to make money. By the way, this is my shopping list. This is what I look at too. I don't have like, oh yeah, you've got your double secret reprobation list. That sounds goofy because that's from an old movie. No, I don't. It's the same list. It's my key list. It's what I'm looking at. So there's Applied Materials. You can see the spot lifting through there. It was on the list. By the way, when was it on the list? It was on the list the night before it went up. Okay? So here we go. Let's do the next one. Teradyne. Teradyne. There's a little shelf there. And I say 38.11. Well, look at that right there. The high there is 38.10. Penny over it, whatever, 38.11. Lifting off that shelf. Leading group, leading stock, bouncing off the 8-day. The next one's ICHR. And what did I say? ICHR, 26.76. Bounce off 8 EMA, want volume. Well, right here, it lifted off. Watch this. This'll dazzle you. Here we go. Right here, bouncing off the 8 EMA, 26.76. Where did I get that number from? You see this number right here? When I put my cursor on this, watch that where it says H. 26.76. A penny over it. 26.75, 26.76. Bouncing off the 8-day. You can say, well, I kind of like doing something like that. Well, guess what? It lifted off here, and it starts to go the next day on a pickup in volume. It didn't close great, but it still closes up. And then today was a payday. That's nice. That's, I don't know the future. I don't know that was going to happen. But it is nice to see. You might say, okay, boy, I kind of like that. We look for clean and simple. I stress, if you're doing this, and that's why I'm here, is to educate you. That's a very orderly pullback on steadily decreasing volume to the rising 8-day. And it's in a leading group. Leading groups, leading stocks. Pulls back. Get a start lift there with a pickup in volume. And then today was a payday. That's nice. Here's the next one. Alibaba. Going sideways. Here's what we were looking at a couple of days ago. And what did I say on Baba? 180.90. Well, look at that. Right here, this high's 180.80. Over here is 180.87. But there's a little shelf right here. And I mentioned this in Mission Winners' site. that if it takes out these tops, there's a spot to buy it right here, taking out these 3 days of tight tops. And it starts to pick up on a pickup in volume. Went a little bit higher today. Decent volume, not great, but at least it's grinding up. Just a simple base. We focus on clean and simple. I'm really big on that. There's BABA. Here's the next one. Stamps.com. Want volume through buy zone. What's the buy zone? $220.10. Which, if you take a look there, there's 220. There's 220. A dime over that. 220.10. Cup and a handle. You see, by the way, you see that little green mark? That's a limit alert. And you can say, well, that's set below the price. I set it earlier. Why? So I'm ready for it. That's Stamps.com. You can say, oh, I like that. That's just a clean and simple base that everybody sees. Yeah, that's what it is. That's one of our setups. I really have to tell you the truth. I've got two primary setups. You know what they are? I'm going to show you. Right here. This one. Pulling back to the rising 8-day and bouncing. Pulling back to the rising 8-day or 20-day and bouncing. That's number one. And number two is a flat base like this on Alibaba, or a longer base, clean and simple base on Stamps.com. That's what I'm looking for. What do I say on Stamps.com? Want volume through buy zone. Hasn't done it yet. Here's the next one for you. Facebook starts to go above these tops right here. It just tickled above these tops here a couple of days ago, and this is something we've got to do every time. Anytime you buy a stock, watch it and see how it acts. Look at this. The stock goes up. The next day, it gaps up and it runs up and it triggers. Taking out those tops above 174. Right here, 173.89, 174. That's where I got 174.10 as the buy zone. It triggered, it went up, but look at how it closed. It gaps up, it runs up, and closes in the bottom fourth of its range on a slight pickup in volume. That's not a good day. What does it do today? It drops a little further. If you had bought this, you'd sell a little bit off. Why? Because it ain't supposed to do that. It's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to follow through. We study price and volume. One of the things I'm big on when I teach this, I'm an IBD meetup co-leader, and I always tell people, I look at the open, I look at the high, I look at the close, and I look at the volume, and I put it all together. And you can see institutional buying and selling. Here's the next one, GWRE. And I did a video on this one of the videos that I just did that's on the site, and it'll be sent out to the VIP members. And we've been through this one. I'm not going to go through it again. That's Guidewire. Next one, TSG. Just a little shelf here. It wants to get going, and it can't. I said 20.55 right there. Right here, it hit 20.60. You go, oh, I guess you bought it then, Pat, right? No. Now, here's the other thing I'm big on, is education. Why didn't we buy this? It's in a good group. It's in a good group. But I said be shorter, be careful with shorter bases. It broke out. Let's buy. There was no volume. I pointed that out in Mission Winter's site. There's no volume. I'm passing. We're not going to do it. So we leave it alone. It's not doing anything. We got to wait. The next one, Sohu. This is an aggressive entry, go smaller. 57.70. Taken out right there. Taken out 57.60. Starts to go. But again, did I do this? No. Did I tell people I was buying it? No. Why? There's no volume. There's no push. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. If there's nobody buying it, I'm not going to be the lone Marine on the beach that says, oh, I'm the only person in the world that sees this and everybody will act on it. No, if it ain't there, it ain't there. Move on. That's it. This is a little bit choppier pattern. You have to be careful. CSTM. I'm thinking it could form a cup and a handle. Taking out this top over here, but now you can see it's got a cup. Maybe it'll form a handle. I want to give you a little chart education again, though. I'll ask you, what bothers you about this chart? And I wish we were in a classroom because I wouldn't say anything and just listen to the answers. This is what I do at the IBD meetup. What bothers you about this chart action here today? And, oh, yes, Betty in the second row. Yes, go ahead. Okay, I'm sorry she's not here. Anyway, here's the scoop. Look at this. It goes up and then it falls. And today it fell on a slight pickup in volume. What else did it do? It closed below the 8-day. Let's do a compare and contrast. On this day, the volume or the bars, chart bars, don't look too bad. It's gotten a little broken here on a pickup in volume. That's a problem. So we move on. Simple base, but is it going to be on the list tomorrow night or tonight? No, it's not. UCTT. What do I say here? Aggressive play. Bounce off 8 EMA, start small. See it right there? UCTT. Right here, bouncing off the 8. There we go. Oh, it's in the semiconductor group. Gee whiz, look at that. That's kind of nice. Okay, gosh, is there anything else that kind of looks like this, that kind of started to do this? Well, yeah, right there. Came down to the 8-day, and it bounces. UCTT. I'm trying to find it. It's tough when I don't have the list where I can see it, and I apologize. Coming down to the 8-day. It's not pushing yet, so I'm going to be cautious with it. The next one, SolarEdge. Man, I got all kinds of notes here. We bought this in the Mission Winners site right here. I called this out and said, hey, we're buying it. We picked it up right here through 27.30. And by the way, they voted. Look at that volume. Just clean and simple. I'm going to get rid of these notes here, okay? Here we go. There we go. Now what I'm going to do for you is drag it over. So the night before, I had this on the list. Taking out these tops right across here. You can see that's pretty clean and simple. Everybody in the world can see it. By the way, you know how we always study price and volume? Check this out, folks. It fell down on heavy volume, and you go, oh, that's it. It's over. It's over. I'm never going to look at this stock again. It's done. Heavy volume, the game is off. But it came down to the 50-day. I said, well, let's see what happens. I'm not taking off the list. It's still above a rising 50-day. It's a leading group. I got to see what happens. Look what it does the next day. It gaps up, closes in the top half of its range, top third of its range, on a big pickup in volume. That was good. Meanders around. Check this day out. It gaps down. It falls down to the 50-day, and then reverses and closes in the top third of its range on another pickup in volume. It's like, man, I got to watch this. This is kind of exciting to me. So this is what I was looking at. It was on the key list that night, taking out these tops. Boom. Payday. They voted. They bought it. Look at the volume. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. By Jove, they bought it. You could sit there and say to yourself, okay, I can kind of see something here. I'm looking for simple bases like this, or I'm going to look for really simple pullbacks to the rising 8-day. And that's kind of going to be my bread and butter. Well, guess what? That's pretty much my bread and butter too. Kind of simple. There it is. Boom. Off to the races. Now what's it doing? It's going sideways. This is current. What could this do? Well, I'll ask you. Stocks go up, sideways, and go again. It went sideways. It lifted off on volume. Volume dropped off here. Volume's dropping off. They're not selling it. They're really not. Check this out. You could say, Pat, that's a really bad bar. Look at that red bar. It almost fell below the 8-day. Look at the volume that day. They weren't selling it. And then what's it do? Pushes up a little bit here, but it has a weaker close. Pushes up here. So-so volume. Heavier than it fell on, though. But you see that little green line? That's my limit alert. If it pushes through here, guess what? I'll buy more. So it's a simple base. My goal is this, just to show you and train your eyes and mind on a couple clean and simple chart patterns. If you can do that with the key list or your own list, life's going to be better for you. You'll be more profitable. It's going to be less stressful, which to me is really big. Less stress is a good thing. We just want clean and simple. Patterns that everybody can see, and when it pushes through, they vote. How? They buy. YRD lifted across these tops. We bought this yesterday. You can say, why would you do that? I'll tell you why. Look at those tops. It's vanilla. Leading group, leading stock. Look at this bar right here, folks. I'm going to make this bigger for you. Look at that. Isn't that neat? Pushes through, closes right near those tops on a pickup volume. Kind of meanders here. You say, boy, if that takes out around $45.70 a share, by Jove, I think that could be a buy. Oh, I'll be darned, they did it. Think of this. Clean tops there, they bought it. You think we're the only people in the world that know this pattern? No, I want everybody to see it, which leads to another point for you. Look for patterns that everybody can see. Why? Then they'll act on it too. Put the ego aside. I want everybody in the world to see it. YRD. There it is, and it lifts off. Now look at this. It gaps up a little bit. It runs up, and then it reverses and closes down for the day on a pickup in volume. So I'll ask you all a question. What do you think we did with this stock today? What do you think? Well, you can sell some into strength if you want, but one thing's for sure. When it's dropping like this and closing like this, I'm going to sell some for sure near the close. And I did. You can say, well, why? Price and volume. It runs up, closes near its lows on a pickup in volume. I made money on it. I'm not losing. I'm still profitable. But when I see a bar like this, that's a red flag. You can see where it does this before too. So that's it on that one. The next one, SIEN, trades thin, going across these tops right here. You can say, well, that's a little loose for me. I don't want to do it. Then guess what? Take it off your list. Make it easier. Make it easier. What do I say? Shorter base, go smaller. Right here, you see that? SIEN. I'm giving people guidelines on this key list. CRCM. What do I say? Trades thin, go smaller. You can see these tops right here. Can it lift off? Possibly. Is this a good bar, folks? I'll ask you. Is this a good bar? Not really. Gaps up, reverses, and closes down. This needs to go sideways a little bit longer and take that out. Is it going to? I don't know. What do I say? Trades thin, go smaller. What do I mean? Don't go big on it. CINA. This was on the list a couple of days ago. 119.30. What's 119.30? There's 119. There's 119.20. The high on this bar is 119.20 plus 10 cents. 119.30. Taking out those highs. I want to show you something here. This was a couple of days ago when I had it on the list. Going across these tops. Doesn't look that bad. Slight volume pickup, but it's right down to the 20. I thought maybe it's going to bounce and go. They do that sometimes, like right here. Maybe it'll go again, but it didn't. So I'll ask you, will that be on tonight's list? Key stock list. What do you think? The answer is no. Fell below the 20-day on a pickup in volume. It's off the list. I don't need to look at it anymore. Boeing. Little shelf right here. It was on the list. 259.40 is the entry. It pushed through there just a little bit. Volume was just so-so, nothing great. I said go smaller. Right through here, through those tops. Big Dow stock. Key on longer bases. We want a volume surge through buy zones. On shorter bases, trade smaller. Be careful if you buy something and it falls right back into the base. That's really important. We always limit losses. We want to buy right. We want to sit tight. We want to let trends work for us. So what was the moral of the whole story of this video? Find a couple setups that work for you and turn off the noise. Look for price, look for volume, confirmation, clean and simple, leading stocks, leading groups. You like volume surges through those pivots. Let some work. Sell some into strength. Limit losses. Don't have an ego with it. Just get in line with what is. Anyway, I wanted to share this. This was a longer video, but I think it's really important. Again, one of the individuals in missionwinners.com site said, hey, how do you find the best ones? And my answer is this. Find a couple of patterns that fit you and own them. Own that pattern. Be a master of that and turn off the noise. Make it simple. I hope this helps. I know it's longer, but I think it's worth your time. And I hope you all have a good night and a safe night. And I thank you.